For this week's video, let's look at this 3508. This is going to be going in a D11. I don't think we've done one of these yet. Doing this one because this one's pretty clean. Look at everything. So this right here is your Wiggins. This is where you suck the oil out of the oil pan when it's in the machine, so you don't have to get under and take down any of the bottom guards that they call belly pans. So you just open the side door on the machine and you stick your oil line right here, and it'll suck the oil straight out of the pan. This port, when you go to put new oil in this, you hook up your oil fill hose to this, and it's gonna push the oil through the oil filters before it goes into the engine. So this is just another way for Caterpillar to make sure that there's clean oil going in, because you're gonna filter the oil through the engine oil filters before it enters the system. And you can also use, when you're taking the hot oil out, you can also put the suction hose on this. It doesn't suck these filters all the way out, but it'll take the oil down enough in them to where you can take these filters out without making an absolute mess. So that serves that purpose, but that's primarily there to filter the clean oil going in. Right above it, this port, this is a brass port. This is where you put your probe, and you'll have a sample bottle, and when the engine's running, that's where you can take an oil sample, so you don't have to tip a filter and risk getting dirt off of the side of the filter in the sample. That will give you an accurate sample right there. There's the part number even of that rubber cap. Both of these are for the heater hoses running up to the cab. So in the summertime, you can turn those valves and shut that off to where no hot water goes up there, and it will actually help the air conditioner run a little bit better without that hot coolant. And there's the piggyback starters, both on the same side. There's your breather hose right there. Front sump oil pan right there. It's actually a three-piece, excuse me. The pan part is separate, bolts to the center section, and then that bolts to the back part. There's your air conditioner compressor driven by this V-belt, and here is your alternator driven by the serpentine belt. These are your fuel lines, come from the back of the machine, the tank. This is the primary screen. This has a metal screen inside. One O-ring here, this bowl. Loosen this nut, this bowl will drop off, and you can take that screen out and clean it. Here's your priming pump. Here's your secondary filters, and this sits in the machine. If you look on the right hand side of the machine, there's a little door right here to access these filters. There's the engine information right there. Right back here is the engine oil cooler. There is the fuel pump, the transfer pump. So right up here, this is actually the hydraulic cooler. And this can be a little bit challenging to change when this engine is in the machine, because if you can imagine, the frame is right here. You've got to unbolt this, and then you've got a hole. You've got to get this cooler stuffed in here to line up these bolts in the back. And that cooler is pretty heavy. And your hydraulic lines bolt right here and right here. There's a 2 water pump set up. Right here is one. I think this is the primary and this is the auxiliary. And there's your damper, which is, on these it just seems like that damper is massive. So this engine just is quite a bit bigger overall than a C32. So ECM. It is fuel cooled. There's the fuel line. Runs back to right back there. There's the other fuel line that runs out of it. Right down there to your transfer pump. There's the air cleaners. Turbochargers. And then inside there in the valley is the after cooler where the compressed air is cooled. It's a water to air setup. So as you can see, this rear housing, this rear structure is just massive. This engine is used in 777s, D11s, 992s. There's just a lot of these engines out there. This setup, 3508, it's a V8 setup. If anybody has any questions, feel free to comment and I'll try to answer them.